Hello everyone and welcome back to PHP programming tutorial. So in the previous video we talked about sessions and how we could start one using session start, and how we could store values in the server and retrieve them using the session array. And on a previous video we talked about the classes. So today we are going to combine these two and see how we could store the information we retrieve from a person in a class object and use that later on, if that makes sense. So we're going to create something like a login and make the server remember us. Okay, so let us start by creating this one. I'm going to say login.php. There you go. So I have this. Okay, and let us go here and go here. Login. There is nothing so far, right? So let me start writing PHP. So here I'm going to say class user. This is going to be, I'm going to make these public. Username, oh sorry, password. Let's assume we want to store the password also, although you don't need that, but anyway, let's assume we want to store the username, maybe the job title, some common, and that's it. Okay, so now we are going to render a login screen to the end user. Okay, so again, this is going to be a table, a row, username, no, this is annoying actually, because yeah, this is going to be input name equal username, oh come on, NUTR, NUTD, password, oh come on, so we have this one, the username, the password, and what also do we need? We say type equal password, and there we go. Okay, finally there's gonna be table, and obviously this is gonna be a form, method equals post, right? and I'm gonna close the form here. There you go. So now I'm gonna submit this page to this, right? So here, this is it. Now I'm just testing for now. So let us refresh. So we have username and password, whatever. It will always submit to the same page. Now I want, I want the processing or the validation of this user to be on a separate page. So to do this, I'm gonna say the following. I'm gonna say action equals what? I will write the name of the second page. So here I'm gonna call it login2.php. Okay, so that, or let's say do login.php, right? So although I am rendering the page here, I want the information to be forwarded to another page for validation and the processing by the server, if that makes sense. So now I'll move this to the second page in a second. Okay, so here I'm gonna add another page. Let me just save here, add another page. This is gonna be 12-do login.php. There you go. So do login and PHP. Okay, so the thing I want to do is perform validation first. Let me copy the code of the class in here. Okay, so I'll put the class code here. Okay, so now the class is being defined here. Now I will do my validation. So if is set post username, so if the username is being set, right, and set post of password, well, in that case we could go forward. Otherwise there is an error. This means I didn't provide the information or there is something missing, right? So here I need to instruct the, I'm sorry, I think there's a bracket missing or something, I'm not mistaken, right? So let me see, what was the error? Let me have a look. Oh, wait a minute. If it's set post, oh, sorry, yikes. Square bracket. Square brackets, there you go. So if post this and is set, oh, I didn't close this bracket here. Good. Wow. Anyway. So now if the username and password are both set, so I will check the values and make a validation both on these, on both of these, right? Yeah. Okay, so here validate the username and password. Now I am going to create a fake function for performing login or validating username and password. So this is going to be function perform login username pw. Okay, So if the username equals Todd and PW equal 123 or maybe 111. I'm gonna fix these because we don't have access to database and stuff. We are just testing a few things. So I'm gonna create a new object for the user on full information. So user equal new, or maybe Todd obj equal a new user. And I didn't create constructor for this, so we could actually fill the information manually. User name equals un and Todd obj row password equals this is gonna be pw and Todd obj row job title equal programmer. There you go. And finally return Todd obj. So this is for the first person. Okay. And this is for the second person. If this is Smith and the password's 222, I'll create instead of Todd, I will call this. We could use the same name, that's fine, but it's just an object name or variable name. So here I'm gonna use Smith obj just to make things a little easier to read. That's it. This is why I'm doing these. Okay, so for Smith, he works in security. Okay, so we have one programmer, the other in security, and so on. And that's and finally we just return null, meaning that there is no, this person is not being recognized. So here I'm gonna say user equal perform login of post of username and post of password. Right, so this is a very simple function that will return the object if the user exists or the login information is valid, otherwise returns false. So if user equals null, this means there is an error. Yeah, so I need to display an error message or maybe go back to the login screen. So in order to navigate back to the login screen, I'm gonna say header. There's this function, header location, if I'm not mistaken, and I need to pass the path. So it is 12-login.php. Okay. Again, these numbers, don't get confused. You can remove these numbers. I'm just, having these here to keep track of the files. Maybe I'll remove them in a second. Anyway, so if there is any problem, otherwise else echo successful login. I'm just trying to test, and we will change this more in a second. Right, we didn't start a session or do anything at all so far. So let's have a look. I'm gonna refresh this. Oh, sorry, cancel. And enter. So we have a click and nothing. We have Todd 111, enter, successful login. That's fine. So when there is a successful login, we want the server to navigate to another page and also remember who we are to display the information. So in order to do that, we could say here, for example, at this point, instead of writing successful login, we just say session start, and then session of user equals user. So now the server remembers who we are, and also we will navigate to another page. So I'm gonna say header location welcome.php. So I will navigate to another page that will display the welcome message to us, and it's called welcome.php. So let's let us create a new file. We will call it welcome. I won't use number now, just showing you that you don't need it. Yeah, so this is welcome. So here PHP. So in order for the server to remember who we are, we're gonna say session start, and now we are gonna get the object of the user we just stored, right? So user equals what? Session of user. So let me show you what's gonna happen now, and let me say echo user arrow username welcome username. That's it. So yeah, so now this might be a little bit confusing, but basically in the login page we are just rendering in this page we are just rendering the username password fields to be filled by the user, and the results will be submitted into this page do login, which tells the server how the class user consists of, what does it consist of, and it will perform a login using our own function here, right? And if everything goes well, we will store the user information in the session on the server and navigate to welcome, and the welcome page will simply display the user information for us. Okay, so now let's go through this cycle, right? So here this is start 111 and login, and we should get an error. There you go. So we get this error. The script tried to access a property or an incomplete object. So we will have a look now what is going on, what's happening, right? So let me go back and 111, and now I will go to this file, put a breakpoint, and also do login and put a breakpoint also to show you what is happening. Okay, so let us go here. So I press login. Now I got the information on posts, as you can see. Oh, this won't work. Give me a second, please. Oh, wait. The values weren't accurate, right? Sorry. Give me a second, please. Oh, no, it's accurate. Login. So let's have a look. So the value on post is what? Todd and 111. For some reason, I didn't read them as ones. Anyway, regardless of that. So now we are gonna call the function perform login. You could assume that this is, let's assume it is going to access the database. So the function will do its work and return to us an object of the user that has just logged in, right? So now we are going to start a session, and the session is empty. It has a user from the previous step, right? So we fill this one, and now we get redirect to the welcome page. So in the welcome page, session start, that's fine. So if we go on into session, you can see user incomplete class. So what is going on here? Why this one is incomplete class? It identifies the fields as you can see here and the class name, but it's incomplete. The reason is very simply is the following. PHP basically needs the class to be defined again. So in this code I have the class here, so I need to define it again, right? Now the problem arises when you have, let's say, a class that has thousands of lines in code, right? So do you copy the class again and again and again? Well, the answer is no, you don't do that, but rather you put the class in a separate file and you call this file whenever you need it. So let's do that. So I'm gonna add a new file. I'm gonna call this user class.php, and let me get the class definition. Cut user class. There you go. So this PHP code is very simple. It just defines a class. It does nothing, right? Now let's go to doLogin. Now doLogin is using this class, so we have to tell PHP that the definition of this class exists in a separate file, which is user's class. Simply just do the following, right? Include user class.php. That's it. This will tell PHP where to find the definition of the class. Okay, so let me just copy this line of code and go to the welcome screen as well and put this code here, right? So let's save. Which page is not being saved here? Yeah, this one. So now let us repeat. Let me go back 111 and log in and welcome Todd, as you can see here. Let me put a space and debug things. Okay, let me see. This is a space here. Okay, so you can see welcome Todd. Let me see 111 welcome Todd. I'll go back here. I'm gonna say Smith 222 welcome Smith. Very straightforward. So let's debug and see what's going on. Okay, let me go, which file? doLogin. Yeah, okay, that's fine. So 222, this time we're working with the Smith. Okay, so maybe I'll close the browser and open it again because I don't want it to remember the previous values. So Smith, I want a new session, Smith 222, and login. Now we can see here there is a username and password. So now we got an object consisting of a Smith, the password, and security. Now we start the session. We store the information of the user in the session. Okay, and we redirect to the new page. And in the new page, check this out. If I try to check the session here, so far nothing, right? So session is null. So the class is being included. So now PHP knows the definition of this class or the user class. We start the session, and now when I start put the pointer here, it identifies the class correctly. It's the user class, and I could get the value. I could echo the results on the screen, right? So what do we learn from this lesson? Well, simply include allows us to share the same file again and again without us having to copy the content of the file repeatedly, right? So here we have just one file, which is the user class, and we could just update it, and all other files will get updated accordingly because they just point to it, right? So this is one way to use includes for defining classes. And later on, when we are gonna build the website, even the components on the website, you could include them in separate files. So you could just include them later on, and they will be generated, if that makes sense. So in this simple video, I just wanted to show you how to include files, and also how to use sessions with objects. Sessions with objects are treated differently. You have to define the class always on every new call in order for things to work smoothly. So I hope you find this useful, and that will be all. Have a nice day, and bye bye.